Hi, I'm Michael Hodge, and today I'm going to do a live install of the Certano Telecaster T-Bender, which requires no routing or any kind of extra screws in your guitar. It mounts right over your standard Tele bridge. Let's see how it goes. Hey everybody, this is the Certano T-Bender. It bends the B string and the G string right on the Tele. It's great. You don't have to do any routing. It fits exactly on top of your old Tele tailpiece. It bends the G string and the B string. You can go down a half step, you can go down a whole step. It's fully adjustable, and I'm really excited about putting this on. I'm putting it on my 1972 Telecaster that I bought from Dan Strain of Telecaster Guitars in Nashville, Tennessee. It's going to be fun to see how this works out. Okay, now the first thing we're going to do, of course, is remove all the strings. Then we'll go to the bridge and let's get this thing started. We're going to start by taking these strings out the back. We cut them, and sometimes it can be a real pain. So let's just trim them right back here. Looks like we got some stragglers. So I'm just going to grab these and push them through and get everything out the back. That's step one. Then I'm going to take some measurements so I know how high my pole pieces are and my bridge pins, and just have a good idea of what I might be looking at coming up. The next thing we're going to do is take the pickup and unscrew it and release it from the bridge. Following that, we'll start trying to take the bridge screws out. There's a lot of them, and unfortunately I'm going to have to lose my intonation, so I'll have to re-intonate if I ever decide to put the old bridge back on. But taking these screws out is a little bit of a trouble, and you want to be careful not to scratch the finish of the guitar. Obviously my guitar is very, very beat up from a lot of playing. And there we go. Bridge comes right off, and you see these little red rubber things on the bottom. I think we're going to need those to put the new bridge on to hold the pickup in place, and that's the next step. So now here we have the Certano T-Bender. Opening the box, you see there's some stickers, an ALLPARTS sticker, which is the company that distributes them. It's nicely packed and protected. Now taking a closer look, I can see the two levers. One's protected. They look like they're gonna be something very cool. You got looks like the strings go on in the middle and the back, and we're just gonna move these things out of the way and figure out how to get this thing on here. All right, I can see that we're gonna need those three little bumpers, rubber bumpers, and we will put those on the screws. And then we're going to try to align this new bridge with that bridge pickup. Okay, that goes there, and that one goes on right there. And let's see if these are easy to align. We'll get our screwdriver and try to line it up, and hopefully we can get it to fit in there. There we go. And lucky enough to get this screw in the right spot, and we got three of them, so we'll get them all tightened down, and then eventually we'll figure out exactly how high that pickup needs to be so it's gonna sound its best. It's a little tricky, and it's worth the trouble to get it exactly right. You want it to sound good, you want it to work well. Get to all these screws and get it up about where it's supposed to be. I think that's about, this looks like it's probably pretty close. And then the next thing, once we've got this where it needs to be, we're going to start to get the rest of the bridge locked in and screwed in. Okay, I want to double check this, make sure it's just right. Everything looks good. Everything's in its place. And now the next step is going to be hand placing these wood screws where it's going to hold the bridge down into the guitar, and we'll just put them in by hand, and then we'll take the drill and we will lock them in. Yeah, that worked great. Always make sure to do it nice and slow. You don't want to strip anything. Now I'm just checking. Let's see how this thing works. These little levers. There's a little back part in the back like a Gretsch where the string ball will go around, and these are going to go up and down, and we're going to figure out how they tune and how to get them locked in. So now we will put these strings on, NYXL Diodarios. I really love them. They stay in tune and they last a long time. So we'll just get these guys through that hole, and then we will take the 4 strings that aren't a part of the B and the G, and we'll get those things locked in. I also like this nut grease. It's called Tune It, and it works really good. I use it on these guitars as well as my Strats. Next, we've got the 4 strings all tuned close, and we're going to do the B and the G, and there's these little posts that stick out on the back of the T-Bender, and it's similar to a Gretsch. We're going to try to get this thing on here. It's a little bit of a challenge, and I'm going to thread that thing through that little post. It's not as hard as I thought it was going to be. I'm used to dealing with these things because the Gretches have a very similar situation in the back, and once you get them on, and actually the more you do it, you'll get used to it. There we go. We get that thing on there, and now we'll pull the string and we'll get this second one on, thread it through that little post. Finally, we'll be able to tune this thing up and then figure out how to adjust these paddles so that we can have a killer country sounding guitar. Oops, that's not good. All right, I gotta figure out how this works. Okay, so now I've put all the strings on and adjusted the heights of the pickups and the individual bridges, and they seem pretty close. I may have to do some tweaking. So then I learned that the way this works, this back one tells you how high this is going to be, depend on if you like it up higher or down lower. This middle one tells you how to tune it. So for instance, I don't know if you can tell, but that's a B, that's C sharp, looks pretty in tune. And then this one is a G, it's going to go to A. Pretty close. So there you go. That's the installation. Probably a little bit of tweaking to go. Didn't take too long, really. And here it is, fully installed and ready to play your favorite country music or do some really cool ambient swells. I think you ought to check this out. It's very cool. Nice. Thanks for watching. If you like videos like this, I will be posting all my product reviews for Worship Musician Magazine here. If you have any comments, please post them below. Have a great day.